10 footballers who do drugs in real life. Professional footballers are typically quite discerning about what they are willing to put into their bodies, especially in the current game. The days of binge drinking or drug use the night before a major game are long gone. Given the rigors of the game nowadays, it would be far too simple to spot any players who are experiencing the effects of a hangover or a come down. However, that doesn't imply that some football players don't succumb to temptation. Every now and again, footballers are caught eating or using stuff they shouldn't, including narcotics, whether it was due to a brief slip in attention or repeated use. So we have listed down 10 footballers who were not only caught using drugs, but who were banned from the game for doing so. So let's talk about it. Hello guys, welcome back to Football Plaza. In today's video, we will discuss 10 footballers who do drugs in real life. To know all about it, watch the video till the end. But before we start, please like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell icon, and let's get started. Adriano Couto. Prior to joining Internazionale in Italy midway through the 1999-2000 Serie A, Adriano Couto played for RG Patesti for 2 years and Dinamo Bucuresti for half a season to begin his professional career. His outstanding performance earned him a €22.5 million transfer to Chelsea in 2003. He excelled for a year, but in 2004, he lost popularity and jeopardized his career by testing positive for drugs. Because cocaine was discovered in his drug test, Chelsea sacked him and gave him a 7-month suspension. Despite his skills, he frequently suffered from minor ailments and faced accusations of irregular behavior. After another Coppa Italia game, this time between Fiorentina and Lazio, in which Couto scored twice to help Fiorentina win 3-2, was reported to have failed a drug test on January 29, 2010. The Italian anti-doping prosecutor asked INOC to impose a 1-year ban on Couto. Unfortunately, Adriano Couto's career was destroyed by his drug misuse, which prevented him from performing as well as before. He was well known for his low work rate, erratic behavior, and misconduct on the field throughout his professional career. As a result, many people believe that he had not reached his full potential. Mark Bosnich. Australian goalkeeper Mark Bosnich was regarded as one of the greatest in the world. Aston Villa, Manchester United, and Chelsea were 3 Premier League teams for which he played in England. He also played for Sydney United, Central Coast Mariners, and Sydney Olympics in Australia. Throughout his career, he also made 17 appearances for Australia, scoring once for his country. His football career, however, hit rock bottom in September 2002 when he tested positive for cocaine during a drug test and was fired as a result. After that, for 5 years, Mark was unable to escape the grip of cocaine. Later on, Bosnich acknowledged that his relationship with British model Sophie Anderton contributed significantly to his cocaine issue, saying that he felt he needed a line for every single one she had. He is not sorry for what he did. After that, Bosnich's addiction grew worse, and he subsequently recalled. There was a stage where I got up to 10 grams a day when I was down in the dumps. On July 16, 2008, he was made bankrupt at the High Court in London on the petition for a creditor. Diego Maradona. Most football enthusiasts would be familiar with Diego Maradona, who is regarded as one of the greatest players in the history of the game. However, several off-field scandals and drug abuse have also marred his career. Maradona received a 15-month suspension in 1991 while playing for Napoli after testing positive for cocaine. He was the focal point for Argentina at the 1994 World Cup, and Maradona appeared to be on something when he scored a goal against Greece and wheeled away into one of the most memorable World Cup goal celebrations. However, he failed a second drug test after the game and was expelled. His final score for our Argentinian national team was the goal against Greece before he finally quit the game. Deco. Deco's situation is a little unusual, as he decided to challenge his suspension despite the fact that it was issued after he had retired. Former midfielder for Portugal, Porto, Chelsea, and Barcelona played his final matches for Fluminense in Brazil before retiring in August 2013. In March 2013, a test revealed that he had traces of furosemide, a diuretic that can be used to conceal the presence of other drugs. However, he continued to play until 4 days before his retirement, at which point the ban was actually put into effect. Even though he had already ceased playing and the ban effectively wouldn't have even applied to him, Deco argued that the positive test was the product of a tainted vitamin supplement and protested his innocence in an attempt to overturn the decision. Abel Xavier. Although Abel Xavier was perhaps most well known for his outrageous hairstyles and beard, his 18-month suspension for using anabolic steroids would also be remembered negatively. After a UEFA Cup match in 2005, the Portuguese international defender, who was then for Middlesbrough in England, tested positive for the illegal drug Dynabol. As a result, Xavier, a well-traveled player whose previous teams include Benfica, Bari, Real Oviedo, PSV Eindhoven, Everton, Liverpool, Galatasaray, Hannover 96, Roma, and Los Angeles Galaxy, became the first player in the Premier League to get a non-recreational drug ban. Jermaine Hugh. Jermaine Hugh, a midfielder for Jamaica's national team, spent most of his career with Harbour View in his home country across two periods, with brief forays in American and Swedish football. Although Hugh is no longer a footballer, back in September 2013, things almost went horribly wrong for him. When he was already 35 years old, he received a 9-month football suspension for testing positive for a prohibited substance following a World Cup qualifying match against Honduras. He was out of shape as a result of the ban placed on dexamethasone, a sort of steroid. At an older age, he found it challenging to return to the game, and in May 2015, he announced his retirement. Chris Armstrong. The Chris Armstrong case demonstrates how severely football has tightened up on drug use in recent years. In March 1995, Armstrong, a 23-year-old Crystal Palace footballer, tested positive for marijuana. He was the first player in the history of the Premier League to do so, and as a result was given a suspension. But in less than a month, after participating in a brief rehabilitation program, he was back on the field. He joined Tottenham Hotspur for £4.5 million the same year, becoming the club's record acquisition and the most expensive player to ever leave Crystal Palace after they were demoted to the old First Division. Gerard Kinsella. Gerard Kinsella is testimony that lower-level football is subject to the same drug testing standard as top-level and international football. In June 2013, a 2-year football suspension was imposed on the Fleetwood Town midfielder, who had tested positive for anabolic steroids. Kinsella was eventually permitted to begin training with a football team with the intention of playing again once his suspension was up. The former Everton prodigy, who was only 21 at the time, still insists that he received an innocent injection to relieve the agony from a long-term shoulder ailment and that the use of the steroid wasn't intentional. Stan Lazaridis. Stan Lazaridis, a former Australian international who played for West Ham United and Birmingham City, was handed a 12-month ban from the sport in 2007 after testing positive for the anti-androgen prescription drug finasteride for alopecia. Despite Lazaridis' assurance that the chemical had been used in good faith, without knowing that it was prohibited and wasn't a performance-enhancing drug, his suspension nonetheless went into effect. When the ban was imposed, Lazaridis was competing for Perth Glory in his native Greece. He made the decision to withdraw from the game rather than wait for his punishment to end, because he was 34 years old at the time. Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola played a lengthy and successful career as a superb midfielder before going on to become one of the best coaches in the world of football. He was a standout performer with superb ball handling, vision, and game-reading skills. Guardiola failed a drug test in 2001, and his blood was found to contain the illegal steroid nandrolone. The Spaniard, though, wasn't having any of it, and he fought the accusation in a case that lasted 6 long years before he was exonerated in 2007. The accusations were unfortunately brought up again the following year, to the Spaniard's regret, but in 2009, he prevailed and once more cleared his name. With that, we have come to the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and guys, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you can watch the upcoming videos. Also, share your thoughts in the comment box.